There are several settings to a referenced file. One of them to be aware of is if it's set as an attached reference file or an overlay. Now, a file can be referenced as many times as there are files in the world, but AutoCAD cannot handle what's called circular references. That means AutoCAD can't reference a file that's essentially referencing itself. It starts to freak out a little bit, so be careful with that. I know it makes my head hurt too sometimes. And this next bit could be a little bit hard to follow, but I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible. Let's assume we have three files, file A, B, and C. So let's open up file A, and I have these three files in here. They're called file A, file B, and file C. So this is file A, and if we open up the XREF manager, we see that file B is XREF'd into it. And you can see this is A, this is B, and B is set up as an attachment to file A. Now, the two settings, attachment and overlay, they're very different. Both of them will reference your drawings into it. Now, attachment literally attaches that XREF to your file that it's referenced in. So in this case, B is attached or pinned or stuck to file A. So every time I reference file A into any other file, I will always get file B. Why is that a problem? Well, what if I'm in file B and I need the data from file A? So if I open up file B, see it has the letter B in it to help us keep track. And if I open up the XREF manager, I have nothing referenced into it. It is a standalone drawing. So if I try to XREF file A, I just come up here to my references, click attach DWG, or if the DWG icon is what's current up here, I can just click on the icon. And let's reference file A, click open. I'm just going to click OK, and it can't. See, circular references detected. Do you want me to continue? Yes. So it did bring it in, but it's going to give you a hard time. So you have to be careful about that because A wants to bring B with it, but we're already in B. It's kind of like dividing by zero in math. You just don't want to do it. So let's say I open up file C, and in file C, I reference file A. Now I'm also going to get file B with it, A, B, and C. If I open up the XREF manager, you'll see I brought in A and I brought in B. So B is XREF'd in as an attachment. Now the other option is overlay. If I go back into file A and I go into my XREF manager and I see here's B and it's set up as an attachment, and I come down here, I can click on it and switch it to an overlay. Now if I close this and if I save the file and then I go to file C, it tells me that something's changed, that file A has been changed, and this is where it's located. And if I click here, it's going to reload file A. Well, now you can tell here that file B is gone because B is now an overlay. So when you XREF something as an overlay, it comes into this file, but it's not permanently attached like the attach option does. So now B isn't coming with it. So when do you attach a file or when do you overlay a file? I make the practice myself to always overlay. That way I don't have to worry about an attachment coming that I don't want. Sometimes it's bad to have to get other information that you don't want in your drawing. So you have to deal with something and it's causing you more work and more data to have to manage. So if you need A and you need B, just XREF A as an overlay and XREF B as an overlay. Then you don't have to worry about it. Then you have full control of the information. You're not getting extra stuff in it that's going to show up in some of your views somewhere that you don't have to freeze or turn off or deal with. You can just not get it at all and you don't have to deal with it. Now, there may be a case where you have two separate files and there's a reason to keep these separated, but they both have to go together all the time. If that's the case, then you can attach the XREF.